You bet. Well, Tom, and I appreciate you being here with us tonight. Today we released a really great product here in North America, and I know there's some people from Australia and the UK and Italy that are on the call with us, and the product's not quite available there yet. Even in Canada, the product isn't available there yet. But could you tell us a little bit about? And I know this is your son's project. He's been working on it. But if you could just share kind of your ideas on this CBD oil.
Certainly. Well, I know a lot about CBD oil, of course, but it has a real checkered past because it can come from the marijuana plant. But what kind of marijuana plant do you get it from? That's the first thing to understand. The kind that has THCs, lots of them, that's hallucinogenic, psychoactive. That's what potheads are smoking, that type of thing. But CBD is in that, so is THC. But CBD does tremendous things to support your body's system in fighting cancers and regenerating and pain and so many afflictions that we have. It's like a precursor to the natural things within your body that do it. And it's because it's made out of, you heard it's cannabis, and they have cannabinoids in it. Well, these cannabinoids, we produce them in our body anyway. So this is in sync with the things that we're doing. But when you flood the system with them, then instead of maintaining, you get a real surge, like throwing gasoline on a fire. And so the response is much, much faster with it. But because it's been tied in with recreational marijuana, if you will, and they try to differentiate with medical marijuana. So, yeah, that's kind of a differentiation, but I've found that most people that I've seen through this business that are into medical marijuana are really in it to get high on a hit. We're not in that at all, and the government really would be down on that. But most products are being sold are pretty well that way. So we could see this thing was generating enormous amounts of energy for hemp oil and CBD oil with it. And so Tom Jr. took this thing, and I've got a few things I'm doing in the project thing, but this one is so difficult because there wasn't any legal manufacturers in the country. And anyone doing it here in a few states, they had some things that they were in violation of federal law. So in order to do it and do it properly, we didn't want to do what others have done that are now starting to pay the price, but we wanted to be absolutely legal. We want to be approved. We want to be a certified manufacturer by the FDA, and we got that, and we licensed, and we got all of the legal approvals and everything else to do, and there's a lot of things with that you have to set up in a system in your plant to do it, and it's what a professional company would do. So now we're there, and I don't know, I think there's not many companies in the country that are, maybe 5, I think, or so that can do it, but there's lots of other people that are doing it, but they're pretty well, it's mostly flim-flam scam. And Fox News report just came out, and what it showed was it was running well over 80% of all the products that you get are not legally correct. They haven't got in on what they say they'll do, and we've seen the same kind of thing. So if the CBD has got so much power, then it's like, how far are you going to go on it? And if your gasoline tank is empty and you put 1 cup full of gas in it, not very far. But if you fill the tank, you can really go. And so this is the thing we try to do. We've looked at the studies, we saw what works, and we understand it takes about 1,500 milligrams to give you the power that's there. And then you can't have more than 0.3 THCs in it. You're going to have some in all of it. It's in all. But you want it reduced down, then you don't have any psychological effects from it. It just happens to be a minuscule product that's there that has no effect on the body. So if you can remove it all, then it'd be it's expensive, but it'd be so much more expensive. But there's no reason to get down to that. So the FDA has a standard. So we've done all of that. We're selling it. And now I'm looking at companies that are out there, and I saw, if you watch the episode with Dr. Oz on it, they came and they presented it to him, cannabis and medical marijuana, and by the time they got showing him what it was, he was so disillusioned because they were talking about all of the problems and the dishonesty and the ways that it was being done, so you couldn't even tell it. And so as a result, they went ahead and he just said, I can't recommend it. Well, I can't recommend it either unless it's Sisel, because I'm not sure of the others. And the one big thing is there's a certificate of analysis, COA. And if you're buying it, you ought to get a company that would give you a COA, because they won't give you a COA. Hey, they're illegal as heck. And now, because there's so much of it going on, and people selling, you got to remember, hemp oil is not CBD. There might be some in it, but there's about 60 different varieties of marijuana plants. And of course, if you're into the buds and the flowers, then you're getting the high THC. We're not. If you're into the root, you can get hemp oil, then you can concentrate the CBDs, and it depends on which variety you're getting. See, so this isn't an easy thing to do, and especially because it hasn't been in the marketplace. So we've had to set up refiners, growers, everything that's done, get all the legals with everything, so we can even ship it across state lines and do all that. And now we are doing, as I said on the call this morning that I had, like out of Greek mythology, when they got in real bad trouble, they released the Kraken. Well, we're releasing the Kraken, and it's going to crush all of our competition with it. And as you look at some of the products out, I was looking at some, been reviewing them here, getting prepared for this opening. And as I looked at them, I see companies that are saying it, they're advertising it, they have 10 milligrams or 15 milligrams of CBD oil in it. And people don't know the difference. Oh, it's advertised CBD. Yeah, it is. But, 10's not many when it takes 1,500 to give you a maximum effect. And 15's not much different than 10. Right. But how about getting 100 times more than that? And that's what we have with what we're doing. So we've got a product that is outstanding. And for people that have problems with anxiety, insomnia, a lot of even problems with being calm or stress or nervous or aching joints and bodies, and all of this product, the cannabinoids are very effective in taking care of. You won't get a hit off it. You won't get a high off it because they got those ingredients in it, the THCs. What we've got is lots of CBD, which has got enormous amount of power that is supercharging the cannabinoids we have in our body already, so that suddenly it's throwing gas on a fire. You just get this explosion of effectiveness that's there. Now, you can put it in your mouth, and if you put it in your mouth, don't swallow it for a while. Push it around, get it under your tongue. If you do, you're going to find your absorption rate is much, much higher with it. In fact, you'll feel it even faster if you'll do that. I'd say swish it in for 30 to 60 seconds, and you're going to be darn glad you did, because the results will become so much faster. If you're having trouble getting sleep, or you're not sleeping real well and soundly at the night, man, this thing will relax you, and you'll sleep like a baby. Wow. So there's too many points to this to go through it, but there's an enormous amount. And now, where we're standing, where the industry is just opening up, just barely, and I will tell you, just this past month, it barely became legal for us to sell this across the United States because of all the laws and regulations and everything done. And we got it done, but we knew it was coming, and we prepared for it. And so it just the first of this month, it became legal, and here we are at the 22nd, releasing it because we did all the work before. So that's the story on that.
You bet.
But it's going to be huge because the publicity and the demand is so great that it's going to be easy to sell. And when you can talk about, you don't want to buy the other brands because they can be hemp oil and they can be high in illegal components and all of those things, but and they don't put enough actives in because it's expensive, and so you pay your money, expect to get things, and guess what? You don't get the results. It takes a certain concentration of the ingredients to achieve the things you want, and the science has shown what it is, and we have got it in ours. And
you bet. Well, Tom, one of the things I'm sure, and a lot of people are going to be interested in, people from other countries, there's so many different regulations from country to country, even from state to state, province to province, things like that. Is there, and maybe I'm asking this question a little prematurely, but what's the possibility that it's going to be available in other countries in the next few months or year or whatever?
It's good, bad, and non-existent. Just depends on what country you're dealing with. Right now, I can tell you this, it is utterly impossible to get it in Australia or New Zealand. Their laws and their regulations are so stiff, they have no wiggle room, and it's going to take a lot of public comment and momentum, which I think is going to happen now that laws in the United States have been made so that you can sell legitimately powerful hemp oil with supercharged with large amounts of CBD oil within it. So that's going to happen. A lot of people are going to say, hey, we don't want the hallucinogenic part. They can have that. That's illegal. But what we do want is we want all of the medical benefits that this supports our body with, and they're massive. So we're hoping that will be the thing that will relieve that situation. But it's going to take legislative action in Australia and New Zealand to do it. You definitely don't want to send any in there because it gets you in big trouble and get it confiscated, get fined, even get arrested for that kind of thing. Likewise, you folks need to understand, if you want to buy the CBD oil from Sisel, just give us your credit card. We'll take it and we'll process it for you. Does that sound unusual? No, it doesn't, but yes, it is, because most banks now are not taking credit cards for any sale of any type of CBD or hemp oil because they're almost all fraudulent or false or misleading. And we've gone through our merchant account that we have. We told them what we do, and we showed them all our registrations. We went and even got registered with the post office and showed them all of the certification and approvals and everything we had, and the FDA regs done, and the state licenses and the federal licenses and all of those things, and that we were using an efficacious amount of the product. And our merchant account says, yeah, we'll approve any of the sales that go on. But almost all of the others, their banks are not going to take credit cards because they're selling a product that's smoke and mirrors.
That's right. Yeah, I heard of one company that actually had to, they lost their merchant account in the States, and they had to run over to Ireland to get another bank that would handle their credit card processing.
Yeah, that's happened, but that bank will cut them off because people are buying on the credit card. They don't get the results. They charge back it to them, and so that's the thing people do to make a buck. But I mean, you want to make a buck that way? Not me. I want to give one that has real benefits so that people want to buy it again and again because they're seeing it work. And so if they can run off and find somebody in another country, number one, they're going to get a high rate for credit cards to be cleared because it is in the United States, and it's going to catch up with them fairly fast, and they'll get shut down.
You bet. Well, Tom, I know it's getting late for you.